donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net, and together we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
Ferrari, a Jaguar, switching 4 lanes with the top down, screaming out, money ain't a thing.
Bubble hard in the double law, flashing the rings with the window crack, holla back, money ain't a thing.
Jigga, I don't like it if it don't gleam, gleam. In the hell with the price, but the money ain't a thing.
Put it down hard for my dogs that's locked in the bang. When you hit the brakes, new whips, money ain't a thing. Come on.
Y'all wanna floss with us? Come on. All across the board, we burn it up. Drop a little paper, baby, toss it up. Slacking on your pimpin', turn it up. See the money ain't a thing.
Flex the road, sign a check for your jigger style is love, X and O. Save all your accolades, just the dough. My game is wide, all lanes aside, trying to stay alive. 100 down for the bracelet, foolish ain't out, a chain to strain your eye. Twin platinum, son, aim for the sky. Ice on my as soon as I pull it. Willies wanna rub shoulders, your money too young. See me when it gets older, your bank account grow up. Mine's is 1000 old up. Damn near out the rear trunk when I roll up. Mota till I close up, it's all basic. I've been spending hundreds since they had small faces. Rob your stash out, doubled out down in Vegas. Me and JD got it locked crazy. Where you at, haters?
Jaguar, switching 4 lanes with the top down, screaming out, money ain't a thing.
Welcome to Wealth Building Wednesdays, where we center Black, women, and BIPOC-owned businesses. Highlight opportunities and initiatives for underrepresented entrepreneurs and center socially innovative enterprises, building generational prosperity, fostering real networking, and recycling Black dollars. It's Wealth Building Wednesdays on KBLA Talk 1580.
It sure is, and it is always an honor to introduce you to new businesses, socially innovative, Black-owned and local-owned. And today is no exception. I want to meet an LA native who's curated and coordinated events for 30 years, and a chef. We have Sonia, who's the executive coordinator, and Omar, head chef of, okay, I don't speak French, so you guys are going to have to tell me how to say the name of your business.
Sure. Les Affaires, event planning specialist and catering.
Les Affaires.
There we go.
And going all the way back to the 90s?
Yes, actually, starting in 1992.
So tell me about that. I mean, that's especially in the food business, most businesses don't make it 5 years. You guys are decades strong.
Yes, well, it's been a blessing for sure. And initially, I started off as an event planner, and I'm just dabbling in food for friends. And then I started getting demands like, well, if you don't cater, you're not going to plan. So it manifested into a full service event planning company with the catering.
Mm.
And I come aboard in 2004, but I didn't start doing the catering until 2006 because she was just keep getting busier and busier, and then I just like, okay, I'll go to school to become a chef, and then I'll join her. So that's when I come aboard.
So you actually were already part of the business, and you became a chef to improve the business?
He actually is originally from Jamaica, so he wasn't here. The funny story is when I started this business, he was 9 years old.
Okay. That is a funny story. I want to hear the rest of that funny story.
Yeah, so, I'm 11 years older than he is. And so when I started the business, he wasn't even here. But as we got married and he saw how busy I was, and I say, can you jump in and give a helping hand? And eventually it became, can you go to school and become our executive chef?
Yeah, because I was working at UCLA Hospital doing patient menus and stuff like that, and she's like, "No, can you just go to school and work for this?" And I said, "Okay, I'll do it."
Wow. So, Sonia and Omar Briscoe, you've been together quite a while. That's not easy. I tried it when I was married, working with my husband at the time. Woo, that was rough. You guys have apparently worked it out, though.
Yes. And we work together all day because my day job, his day job, if you want to call it that, working for the school district. I'm a teacher and he's security. We're together there. And then we're together with the business.
Yeah,
So
it must be
we're
love.
always
It must be
we're
love.
always together.
So, tell me how, you like a lot of entrepreneurs, you wear a lot of hats. You have a day job, you have your business, which you've had since the 90s. And Omar, it sounds like you came on in the 2000s, the aughts, as they call them.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the business continues to grow. I mean, how are you juggling all these different hats, and what are all the different things that you guys are doing with your small business?
So definitely you're correct. There are a lot of hats. But like with anything, you can't do it alone. It's important that we continuously train and hire others that can represent our company. So that has been our focus. And it's definitely the forefront. And that's what has made things be able to stay successful through recession, through the pandemic.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
go ahead, Omar.
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
And yeah, so to take off some of the workload off of her, also she have her team that do like all of the menu plannings and all that stuff, and reach out to clients, and then we just go from there. And then the two of us, we sit down and then fine tune everything, and then go from there.
So you decided to go to school to become a chef. You guys decided, it sounds like you decided together that Omar was going to go to school and become a chef as part of this business. And what if you would have gone and you had no talent? Like, what if you were a terrible chef? I mean, it sounds like you also have an affinity for this.
Yeah, I grew up around food all my life. My family, they make their money from bread. So for a minute, I hate the kitchen because I always see flour all over everybody in the kitchen and the floor and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, no, that's too dirty. but I know it because I learned it from them. But it wasn't something that I was really interested in.
So when you circle back to it on your own, you found the love of it, apparently, because it sounds like you're close to 20 years in, 15 at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. Once I get in there, it was like, okay, it's like a muscle memory. Everything just start clicking, and you go from there. And every day is just fun.
What would you say you specialize in, Omar? What's the most delicious thing you got?
I do it all. So I do a lot of French cuisine, Indian, and Creole food and Caribbean food. So I love it all. There's nothing that really, I would say, stick out because you put love in all your food and it turned out excellent. So that's it. I just love doing it.
Sonia, talk to me about what we the customers could be looking for, all the different things you guys do. It sounds like event planning, catering, but give me examples of the kinds of events, layouts, that you do.
So we definitely do all the types of social events, small events such as baby showers and bridal showers, of course, birthday parties, and into weddings, corporate events. We even do funerals. We've had some very interesting requests for events. A business might be opening or someone just bought a new home and they want to do a housewarming. We've done that. So pretty much any type of social or corporate event we definitely do. We work with nonprofits as well. And then on the catering side, we offer a weekly meal service that came about during the pandemic. A friend called and said, you know what, I'm trying to help my neighbors who are elderly with food. Their family can't come into town and so forth. But I don't know how to prepare for that many people, and I only have a few things that I do well. I think you should do a meal service. And I said, you might be right, because right now, all the events, which at that time I think we had about 50 contracts of events, were canceled. And so we started the meal service, and so we continued it because our clients requested us to stay with it. So that's a weekly meal service. We do drop-off. We do full service there, catering. And then, like coming up now, we do a special Thanksgiving meal. So for those who don't know how to cook, don't want to cook, maybe just need something different for Thanksgiving, they can call us. We have a preset Thanksgiving menu that can be chosen from.
Love that. A lot of people don't want to go through all that. If you have the means, get a caterer. I love that. So tell us how we would contact you and how we would, engage your services, whether it be Thanksgiving, meal service, an event, huge corporate event, or a small baby shower. How can we sign up?
I understand. Yes. The easiest way is to go to our link tree. Our link tree, Les Affairs event. And Les Affairs is French, so it stands for the affair, or I should say it means the affair. And Les Affairs is spelled L-E-S as in Sam, A-F-F as in double Frank, A-I-R-E-S again as in Sam. So Linktree, Les Affairs events, pluralized, and you will find connection to all of our menus, social media, and website descriptions and special requests.
Are you guys on, Instagram, Facebook, all the things?
Yes. Right. So if you go to the link tree, then you see the Facebook, you see the Instagram, you see the Twitter, you see our website, and you definitely see all the order pages and the posting of our monthly calendar for meal service.
Amazing. Les Affairs, Lesaffairs. Even if you don't know how to say it, you can spell it. It looks like Les Affairs, but with one S. And we can connect with you that way. I congratulate you on so many years in business successfully. What do you want us to know about you on this Wealth Building Wednesday on the way out the door?
Definitely that we are community-oriented. Yeah. We train and hire
a lot of youth from our high schools and stuff like that, and then encourage them to go on to do better stuff. Even if they stay with us for a year and the next business requests them, we let them go because it's growth. And they're in the community, so they just need to see stuff like that.
So you have an unofficial event planning and chef school. It's kind of like my unofficial broadcast school that I have going at every job I do. I love that. That's excellent. So folks know someone that's wanting to be a chef or an event planner or just an effective organizer, they might want to send them your way, huh?
Most definitely.
Yeah, and the thing that she's leaving out also too, she teaches the culinary program at Dorsey High School. So she's just down the street.
Amazing. Well, it's really a pleasure to meet you guys. Sonia and Omar Briscoe, Les Affairs Catering and Events. We wish you continued success, and thanks for all you're doing to impact the community as well.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you for what you do.
It's a combination of a Black-owned business and a socially innovative business. That right there, that is the sweet spot. If you want to get your business featured on our Wealth Building Wednesday, hit me up on any of the socials. We are at KBLA 1580 on every platform, Twitter, Facebook, especially Instagram, my favorite. You could also go to my personal one, Diprima Radio, Diprima, and then radio. Hit us up. And let's feature your business. We want to literally spread the wealth and encourage us, ourselves, each other, to recycle Black dollars, to support small, local, and socially innovative, women-owned, BIPOC-owned, and most of all, Black-owned businesses. That's what we do around here. We are unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward. Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Shop Black Friday every day and get the best new deals all month long only at Lowe's. Right now, save up to $800 on select major appliances, plus save an extra $100 on select laundry pairs. And there's more. Bring home pre-lit artificial Christmas trees starting at $49 because Lowe's knows deals. Valid through 10/31. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Thinking about hosting a podcast and don't know where to start? Morris Media Studios has you covered. We're a professional podcast and voiceover studio located in Leimert Park. We specialize in recording and live streaming audio and video podcasts. Let us help you set up, record, and distribute your podcast. Hosting a podcast is a great way to bring awareness to your business, product, or good cause. For more info, visit morrismediastudios.com or give us a call at 323-815-4204.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
Would it be bad to have banana pudding for breakfast is the question. This filthy rich banana pudding that LaTanya brought, she got banana flavor, Oreo, toffee, caramel, strawberry, and peach cobbler flavored banana pudding. I'm just saying it looks kind of good. Would that be bad? Yeah, probably would be bad, but it looks delicious. So yeah, happy to be highlighting these Black-owned and socially innovative enterprises on a Wealth Building Wednesday. Wealth building to me is every day for us. It could and should be about recycling our dollars to our own communities, to our own geographic areas, says the lady that shops too much on Amazon, which we know puts smaller enterprises out of business, and to women-owned businesses, BIPOC businesses. And since we're on that, I was looking in Black Enterprise, and I saw that, not that I'm angling, nor do I have any need for this particular business, but I had never heard of a Black-owned engagement ring company. And apparently this woman, Jasmine Carter, she's just 29, and she has this engagement ring. It's a custom jewelry brand, but it's called Balasia. So actually, I guess they do all kinds of custom jewelry, but the big deal is the engagement rings. So I bring it up, because I like to focus on news that is encouraging, but also we're in all kinds of business spaces. So no matter what you're looking for, I don't know a Black car manufacturer. Maybe there is one. If you know of one, do share. But before you make a purchase, big or small, before I do, I try to look and see, is there a Black-owned business, a BIPOC business? Is there a local enterprise that can do this, and where I can make my dollars resonate more to help the people where I stay, the people in my circle, Black people especially. Lots of other things are going on in the world right now. The former president's son is meant to testify today in a New York court. And that should be telling, probably perilous for the former president, but also for Donald Jr., not known as a towering intellectual, to face a judge. And that judge has been very specific in requiring Donald Jr. and Ivanka to show up in person and to be questioned in person, because, no, Zoom is not an option. I think part of the reason for that is because we expect these folks to have privilege, right? Based on the fact that they are billionaires, or the sons and daughters of billionaires, and based on the fact that they are the children, well, the adult children, I should say, of the former president. I'm having trouble keeping track of all of these criminal and civil proceedings that are facing the Trump crime family. But there are many, and that particular one is around the Trump organization, their fraud, their business fraud. So that's a situation where Ivanka and Donald Jr. will both testify. Donald Jr., of course, expected to testify today. This should be quite interesting. The tragedy unfolding in the Middle East continues to be horrifying. I said on yesterday that I would unpack a little bit what the Israeli president Netanyahu said in his press conference / speech earlier this week, because to me, and I say it all the time, but to me he's their Donald Trump. In just the fact that he's constantly prevaricating, in the fact that he himself is facing corruption charges and trying to hold on for dear life to being, well, he's a prime minister, not a president, being their prime minister, hold on for dear life so that he doesn't go to jail. And because he is so extremely conservative, just like with George W. Bush, in times of war, nations tend to rally around their leadership, no matter how problematic that leadership is. But I think it's important to keep in mind that this is a very, very far-right, conservative, and corrupt person that's leading this country. And remember why hundreds of thousands of Israeli citizens were in the streets trying to protect their own Supreme Court as we listen to his spin on what's going on. The horrifying attack by Hamas on Israeli civilians has been condemned by the world, and rightly so. And you don't get to come to a press conference and make it seem like the 8,500 people that have been killed by Israel since October 7th don't count. And it is hard to talk about because so many people, I said yesterday, it's almost like McCarthyism. So many people, high-powered, upper-level people in corporate America and in the press are losing their jobs, their livelihoods for speaking out. But I believe, just as Congresswoman Maxine Waters said on the day before yesterday, ceasefire has to be the way forward. Netanyahu said ceasefire is the same as surrender, but it's not the same. Ceasefire means you stop killing people while you try to figure it out. That's the way to keep the hostages safe and get them released. That's the way to stop killing Palestinian children. Ceasefire. We can't be afraid. We can't be bullied or intimidated into stop saying it. Ceasefire now. News, traffic, sports, then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on the Black Information Network. I'm Mike Moore. The head of the FBI says the threat of terrorism in the U.S. has hit a whole other level following the Hamas attack on Israel. While testifying before a Senate panel yesterday, FBI Director Christopher Wray said terrorist organizations have renewed calls to attack the U.S. and its interests. He said the most immediate concern is that violent extremists will draw inspiration from the conflict in the Middle East and target Americans. In Minnesota, multiple companies and organizations will invest nearly $1 billion to help narrow wealth gaps in the black community in Minneapolis. The Groundbreak Coalition announced the investment last night at an event in the Twin Cities. The coalition was formed following the 2020 murder of African-American George Floyd. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install our custom blinds and save big. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man. The Clippers beat Orlando by 16 last night at Crypto.com. 27 points and 7 assists for Paul George. James Harden was in the building. He watched the game from a luxury suite. Harden is expected to make his Clippers debut on Monday against the Knicks in New York. He'll be a spectator again tonight when the Clippers and Lakers meet up at Crypto. 7 p.m. tip-off on ESPN. Congratulations to Lakers legend Magic Johnson. According to Forbes magazine, Magic has reached billionaire status. Magic's net worth is a reported $1.2 billion. Magic joins LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Tiger Woods in the Billionaire Club. LeBron became a billionaire in 2022. Magic's numerous business investments include part ownership of the Dodgers, the LA Sparks, and the NFL Washington Commanders. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader. If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black.
Follow the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Escalade IQ. This the intro to the all-electric Cadillac perfected like Zoom. And on a full charge, you get 450 miles without the stop haiku. This is what I do. Daddy fat intellect since 92. Linked all the way back, panoramic roof. Come with 24-inch rim standard. Ooh, why? Shawty don't kill him. Cadillac diamond in the back, cold chillin'. And when I'm on attack, on the track is no ceiling. Sky's the limit. You hear me? You hear me? Straight drop, no parachutes. Lay lines like a longitude and latitude. Dilly, beloved, clearly we're hustling. Bussin', truckin'. Cadillac, Cadillac, Cadillac.
For more on the Escalade IQ, visit Cadillac.com. Available late 2024. GM estimate 450-mile range. On a full charge based on development testing and/or analytical projection. Consistent with NCHA 1634 revision 2017 MCT. Range subject to change prior to production. Annual rates may vary based on service factors, including ambience temperature, terrain, battery age, and condition loading, and how you use and maintain your vehicle.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. Whatever's on your mind, whatever moves you, let's talk about it. That's what we do around here, 800-920-1580. So, yeah, all the things, it's even hard to track all the criminal and the civil cases against the former president. And we know that... that he, is continuously talking smack on social media. He's supposed to be under gag order. The judge reinstates the gag order, but he's still doing that. How do you keep this guy from, from breaking the law by going in on people? He's going in on the judge again on yesterday, talking about, actually this morning, this morning. It's 2:30 in the morning, yesterday or this morning. He's up in the middle of the night, texting, posting on socials, which many will say is not a good idea. Leave my children alone, he says, talking to the judge. You are a disgrace to the legal profession. Your children are in their 40s and 50s, all right? So they're no longer off limits, especially when it comes to crime. Which is hilarious to me for someone who's, ragging on Hunter Biden day and night. And I get that Hunter Biden is an easy target because he does have a lot of problems. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say your children, your grown old children are off limits, but Hunter Biden isn't. I don't think that's how it works. Then he's doing his old witch hunt, election interference, name-calling the judge. How does this finally stop? Who shuts this down? He says that the judge put a ridiculous gag order on me, which we will appeal. He finds me at levels never seen before. Yeah, so there's that. Meanwhile, Michigan's Attorney General's office has decided there will be no criminal accountability for any of the officials who poisoned black people in Flint by switching to a water source that was not clean or safe. Michigan Attorney General's office basically closed the door on any further accountability as of yesterday. They said the state Supreme Court didn't choose to hear any appeals of a lower court's dismissal of charges against the former governor, Rick Snyder. So once again, those high-level crimes, those crimes against communities, go unpunished. Don't steal a slice of pizza, you'll be held accountable, but poison an entire community by trying to save a few bucks and giving them terrible water, that you will be accountable. Meanwhile, there's another trial going on surrounding the 45th president. This one is state of Colorado, some folks in the state of Colorado trying to keep him off the ballot. And we'll see more of these as we get closer to the election, based on the 14th Amendment. So disqualifying the former president because he tried to overthrow the U.S. government. And according to the 14th Amendment, you are not allowed to run for office after you've already sworn an oath of loyalty and broken it by trying to overthrow the government. Now, the Trump team is arguing that it wasn't that oath. The president took a different oath, or whatever their arguments are, seem pretty thin. But this is still viewed as a long shot. I'm not sure why. U.S. officials who take an oath to uphold the Constitution are disqualified from office if they engage in an insurrection. So I guess that means that, we're going to start parsing what is an actual insurrection. Yesterday, they had an expert on extremism testifying about the things that Trump said and why they qualify as insurrection against the U.S. government. The expert said that Trump was using language with a wink and a nod, and that it's clear to these extremist groups what he was asking them to do. I think it was clear to everybody what he was asking them to do. They played clips from his January 6th speech where he said, "We got to go fight like hell to save the country." And they're building an argument based on the relationship between the former president and his cozy relationship with these white supremacist groups. Whether these folks prevail or they don't prevail, it's certainly doing, I believe it will do what I've been hoping and thinking will happen, which is this erosion around the edges of the Trump popularity so that his polling numbers start to sink ever so slightly. It doesn't take much to get him to be not viable. That would be hopefully among independents and those sincere and honest Republicans who are not just caught up in the whole prevarication presidential character model. The Trump lawyer says, well, Democrats said they would fight like hell too, but not specifically that day. Next up will be a scholar on the 14th Amendment. Fascinating stuff there. Let's go to Marcel calling us from Los Angeles. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Dominique. I just wanted to find out if you had or if you were aware of the class action lawsuit that NAR lost last night or yesterday.
I'm not tracking what you're talking about unless I don't. Unless I'm not clear on what you're saying.
Yeah. So basically, the sellers in the Midwest were suing NAR, saying that they didn't have the ability to negotiate the commissions of the buyer's agent. So there's a class action lawsuit that was going on in the Midwest, and they just ruled against NAR yesterday. So they have to pay like $1.something billion. Now, this is a class action lawsuit in the Midwest that didn't affect California because it was only in the Midwest.
Okay, I did see that. I just didn't read it. I saw it. I haven't been tracking it. But this is about people that are selling property, right?
Well, it's about to change the whole industry.
National Association of Realtors.
About how commissions are earned and distributed, and like who gets to say. Like right now, the seller's agent is the one who says, "Okay, the seller's giving me 6%, and I'll give you 3%." Right now, that's the way it's set up, but it's going to change to where the buyer's agent.
Okay, your phone just your phone just dropped out. But what the federal jury ruled was that they were conspiring, that the National Association of Realtors was conspiring to boost their commissions, the commissions that real estate agents get. So what you're saying is the formula will now change as to who's deciding who gets what out of a commission?
Yep, exactly that.
And why do we care about that?
Well, I mean, with California, it's a high real estate industry.
No doubt. Well, I'm not
big,
I'm not only talking about California, but why do we in general, like, how does this impact a homeowner or a realtor, or how does it impact black people? How does it impact regular people?
Yeah, because you're going to be given the power to determine what the commission of your transaction is. You're going to be able to take back the power to say that your seller's agent is not as powerful as the one who's finding me the buyer. Like the way it's currently structured right now, the seller's agent's in control. But if I'm selling my house, I think the one who finds the buyer is more valuable than the one who's selling my house.
Are you a realtor, Marcel?
Yes.
Okay, so how does that change your business model?
Just more paperwork, more dots to dot, what is it? I's to dot, T's to cross. Like before you wouldn't, like if you were looking for a house, I'll show you a house. But now I'm not going to show you a house unless you commit to me. Because the person selling, because if you buy another house, if you find somebody else to give you a house that I showed you, I took you around, and you find somebody else to get you a house, then I'll still be covered and get a commission even though you went with somebody else.
I see. Okay, so you said it's a game changer, and it sounds like a big ruling. They have to pay damages of $1.8 billion, so that's a large judgment, unless you're Jeff Bezos.
Right.
But I'm still, I guess because I'm not in that business, I have to call my girl, Mariama, and see what she says. But does this, do you feel like for you, because my girlfriend is a realtor Mariama, on Instagram. Do you, does this help you? Do you think it helps you?
I think it helps agents who know what they're doing. But the fly-by-night ones that are just in the industry trying to sell a house or whatever, like the experienced agents will thrive.
Okay. So, it says under the verdict, the sellers would no longer be required to pay their buyers' agents, and agents would be free to set their own commission rates, which could be slashed in half or less. That sounds like the average home buyer may end up paying less.
Yeah, and then there's some confusion as to exactly what's going to happen, because they're saying being that the buyer's commission be negotiated by the buyer, like most buyers have all their money for the deposit. They're not going to have money to negotiate their agents' the commission.
Okay, well that's I'm going to have to.
So no laws and rules. Yeah, no laws and rules have changed yet, but that verdict yesterday is about to get a little rocky in real estate.
So the rules are still the same, but the courts are setting a standard for what they what they believe is fair and legal, legit, right?
Yeah. So as a result of the litigation, there's going to be a rules change and monetary compensation. Those are the two things that are going to happen as of yesterday.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it definitely is something that warrants tracking and what happens next. How exactly the rule changes, and how does that impact black folks, especially because a lot of times, especially right now, what I see, at least in my community, in my Los Angeles Crenshaw community, is, as the elders are making their transitions, there's a lot of selling going on as the gentrification, makes our zip codes supposedly hot zip codes. Many people are taking the money and running, and I wonder what these rule changes are going to do. Thank you, Marcel, for making us aware of that. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. Today I spoke with Tatiana, a community manager for JP Morgan Chase.
Thank you so much. Yes, my name is Tatiana Roberts. I am a community manager for JP Morgan Chase. I have to honestly say that this has been the most fulfilling position that I've ever had, where I get to give back to the community because I saw my mom's struggles. That's really what fuels what I do to make sure that the community has all the access to the resources that my mother didn't have.
So for the mother who's in business, what are 3 quick tips you can give to ensure that they're on the right path to accessing financial support from a bank like Chase?
Say number 1, just make sure that you're checking your credit on a consistent basis and taking action to either fix your credit, maintain your credit, or rebuild your credit. The second thing would be budget. I know that B word is kind of like ugly for, right? A lot of people don't like that B word, but it has to be done. We need to tell our money where to go. The last thing is to build a network of supporters that are going to lift you up.
Here in Crenshaw is that network. So visit the Chase Community Center on Crenshaw and Vernon. Meet a banker today. Tell them about your business. I'm Maisha Cairo in the community for KBLA with JP Morgan Chase.
This open enrollment season, LA Care Covered is offering health plans starting at $0 a month. Each plan provides benefits including $0 preventive services, 24/7 telehealth services, around-the-clock nurse advice lines, walk-in minute clinics, and more. Shop and compare premium silver plans with $0 deductibles to help meet your health goals. Ready to shop? Visit us online at lacarecovered.org for a commitment-free instant quote or speak with us directly at 855-222-4239. LA Care Covered, your affordable path to wellness.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, man, I should have asked Marcel about DJ Envy and that whole scenario, where he was, I guess he got caught up in a real estate supposed Ponzi scam. And, that's perilous. That's perilous because when you're on the radio, a lot of people come to you and they ask you to help promote whatever it is they're doing, whatever their business model is. And by the way, I didn't realize Marcel was Don Amici's cousin, so shout out to you both. But so apparently, DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club was involved in this real estate business. I'll call it a business. Folks are calling it a scam, where they were flipping houses. This guy, Cesar Pina, who's now facing all kinds of charges. Federal officials raided DJ Envy's house. They took his electronics. He hasn't faced any charges yet. But the complaint, the federal complaint against this guy Pina, mentions, quote, a well-known disc jockey and radio personality. And this is one of those things where, this guy Cesar Pina was doing what he was doing. And this is something that DJ Envy was promoting on the radio. And apparently he was buying properties, renovating and them, reselling them. That's what they mean when they say flipping them. This is in New Jersey. He was promising people a 20 to 45% return on investment in 5 months. Right there, to me, that should be a red flag. And apparently it was kind of that Bernie Madoff thing where he was taking, this is the Pina guy, taking money that he made from one investor and using it to pay back other investors. Well, meanwhile, he's spending it on his lifestyle or whatever. But that's where you get the Ponzi scam, where I'm taking your money, saying I'm going to give you a 45% return on investment. I'm using it to pay back some of the people I already made those promises to, even though my actual business model isn't generating that kind of profit, because few do. So he's been charged. And apparently a bunch of people who invested never got the payments they were supposed to get from these real estate projects. He was getting people to invest in properties he did not even own. And you know it's shady when you make an investment and somebody offers to pay you back in jewelry. That's ghetto right there. But apparently the question now is, will DJ Envy face charges? He's saying he didn't know nothing about it. The guy's his homie. He was doing what he was doing, and that he didn't know anything about it. That Pina initially said that DJ Envy was never in the room, but then later he started sort of throwing him under the bus. He said he's not a victim. He was my partner, and he's an investor. So we'll see how that plays out. But I got to say, I do have empathy for DJ Envy, not because I want to rip you off with the Ponzi scam, but just because I know it's easy to make a mistake when you're on the radio. I learned my lesson long ago when I had somebody on, and they were presenting themselves as one thing, and when I did my due diligence, I found out it was another situation. And then, you feel terrible because you don't want to connect people with scammers and grifters. So, hopefully it was an honest mistake and Envy wasn't over there. He says he lost $500,000 of his own. To be a radio personality who had $500,000 to just lose. One day. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions because we've got your black. Listen up. If you're one of the more than 100,000 California tenants who were rejected or delayed when applying for COVID rental assistance, you've got a second chance. Under the terms of a new settlement, California's Housing and Community Development Department agreed to audit its past denials. The program ended in March 2022, but the advocacy groups Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment, Policy Link, and Strategic Actions for a Just Economy sued the department. According to the coalition's analysis of state data, the department rejected nearly 30% of all applicants. Under the settlement, the department agreed to clear all renters in the pipeline within 6 months. The settlement applies to anyone who sought assistance from the state's Housing is Key program before April 1st, 2022, whose applications is pending or was denied after June 6, 2022. Tenants who have questions about the status of their application can call the hotline at 833-430-2122. That's 833-430-2122. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
Okay, giving you a little BS alert here, or, it's a talking point, a spin alert here. So there's a big headline today that Black Lives Matter activists who organized to tear down statue jailed for fraud. Okay, so when you hear these stories, let's be sophisticated. This woman named Jara Salim is from Britain, and she apparently had an organization called Changing Your Mindset. And because she marched in Black Lives Matter marches, they'll call it Black Lives Matter. conservative media and conservative pundits, anytime any activist gets in trouble anywhere, they want to call them a Black Lives Matter activist. And in a sense, we are Black people. We're all Black Lives Matter activists. Many of us marched in 2020. Is this organization a part of the group Black Lives Matter Grassroots? No, they're not. And in this article, which I'm looking at from the National Review, they state 2 other cases where they're saying Black Lives Matter has a penchant for fraud. 2 other organizations that are also not part of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, which is the Boots on the Ground organization that actually organizes the protest, stands up for families, lobbies for an end to qualified immunity, and et cetera, et cetera. That's Black Lives Matter Grassroots. And then at the end of the article, it's so slick the way they do this, and we have to learn to be sophisticated. At the end of the article, they say that the Black Lives Matter federal tax filings says BLM used only 1/3 of its $90 million in revenue to fund charitable organizations, spent $22 million on expenses, which included a $2.1 million payment to BLM board member Shalomia Byers for her consulting services. Shalomia Byers is a man. And that's Black Lives Matter that's not grassroots, that's the Global Network Foundation. So they what they do is they sort of create this soup of different word salad to confuse you. What they said about Shalomia Byers and BLM GNF is true. That is what we've been talking to you about. A consultant who's not actually an activist, who's not really part of Black Lives Matter, who managed to gain control, to usurp control of the social media platforms and the money to themselves and appointed his friends to the board. And so GNF does control those dollars. And that was a legit part of Black Lives Matter, but no longer is that. Now they're trying to sue BLM Grassroots. But let's be sophisticated. And when someone says Black Lives Matter activists, let's be intentional about understanding, is this an individual who just was doing a thing that had nothing to do with the actual movement? Was it a stray person within the organization, or was it an infiltrator or usurper? Here they conflate all 3. Really looking forward to the conversation next hour. Live with me in studio, Dr. Diane Terry. Don't miss it. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on the Black Information Network. I'm Mike Moore. The head of the FBI says the threat of terrorism in the U.S. has hit a whole other level following the Hamas attack on Israel. While testifying before a Senate panel yesterday,